Hello and welcome to Nikken's Complete Guide to Nutrition featuring Dr. Mark Bell. I'm Mary Chris Wall and we're here today to help you gain a more complete understanding about Nikken nutrition and how it can be used more effectively to help each of us in our daily lives. In the last year in particular, Nikken North America has placed tremendous emphasis not only on bringing new families of nutritional products to the North American network market, but also products that cut the very edge of new health and wellness technology, that form the vanguard of nutritional technology. To complement Nikken's N2 nutritional support system, Nikken has created N3, an entire family of Nikken Nutrition Naturals. Beginning with such products as Emerald Harvest, Greenzymes, and Golden Orchard, Nikken has moved into an entirely new era of antioxidant-rich, enzymatically active foods, all natural foods that provide us not only with a synergistic blend of healthy foods, but also provide important free-form nutrition that every system needs as it needs it. Nikken then followed with breakthrough products such as Mountain Thunder and Evening Calm, timeless formulas in exquisite nutritional blends of foods to start the day and end it. Next, they came through with such original yet time-tested all-natural formulations as Jelly Bees, the ultimate high-energy food with royal jelly, and Key to Sun, the ultimate fiber from the sea. Now, in that superb N3 tradition, they bring Nikken's Garlic Classics, one of the most renowned healthy foods in history, in 3 exceptional forms for heart health, energy enhancement, and general well-being. A banquet of nutrition to be sure, but it comes with something of a dilemma. How do we take them? How do we use them? How do they work best? Oh sure, each product has very specific instructions on how to use it, but what about combinations? Are there some things that should be avoided? In fact, the world of healthy living, especially when it comes to nutrition, can sometimes get so complex that it seems like it takes an expert to figure it out. Well, Nikken has brought in an expert to help us all do just that. His name is Mark Bell. He's an MD and a specialist in nutritional medicine and preventive nutrition. Originally a specialist in emergency medicine, Dr. Bell has devoted much of his career to nutritional studies and is often called upon to lecture and make media appearances on the benefits of proactive nutritional planning, and has moved to the forefront of wellness medicine in North America. We're going to meet with Dr. Bell and learn about his very carefully laid out program that will help everyone get the most out of their N2 and N3 products. Dr. Bell? Dr. Bell, you've seen the trend toward health, wellness, fitness, and balanced living that has been going on in the last few years. Some people even call it a revolution. What do you think?
That's correct. You know, studies show our population is skewing toward the middle and older ages. Now, with this comes a greater societal awareness and concern for health and wellness. Unfortunately, Mary Chris, although we seem to be more aware of the need for healthy living, the transition to wellness is really actually incomplete. As many as 1 in 3 people nationwide is clinically obese. Now, that's 1/3 of our population. Dietary discretion, although people are shifting toward more fruits and vegetables, is still really below what is the minimum RDA.
So, do you think we still have a long way to go?
Again, awareness and desire are higher than in previous generations, but collectively we still lack the fortitude and stamina. We need continuous, aggressive education and demand from society changes in lifestyle.
And that's a whole other trend, of course, that whole concept of lifestyle modification and healthy living. I mean, even the government is pushing for that.
Absolutely, government and big business. Regrettably, emphasis is placed on store-bought, fat-free, and highly processed foods. And as important as it is to limit the percentage of fat in our diet, we have to eat fresh, natural foods with more physiologic percentages of fat and that contain all the essential nutrients. My fear is that we're inadvertently replacing bad foods with less than completely nutritious ones.
So I guess what you're saying is that you can't really fool Mother Nature.
That's right, Mary Chris. Natural foods are a major solution to a healthy lifestyle. The closer we stay to fresh, the better.
Well, isn't that what Nikken is trying to do with its N3 product lines?
It's very exciting to work with such an integrous company as Nikken. They're acutely aware that lifestyle modification and moderation, if you will, is key to health and wellness. It's what's between the lines of the 5 pillars of health that Nikken teaches. You know, they've spent a great deal of time researching and developing a broad, well-rounded line of products encompassing virtually all aspects of nutrition.
Well, they've certainly created a versatile and very natural basis for their products. But the question is, do they work for everyone?
Well, the principles of health and wellness work for everyone. However, on that note, I think everybody is different. The goal is to instill into the minds of the public the need for proper nutrition, diet, and exercise. Now, some individuals may need more fiber and others may need more calcium, whereas still others may desire higher protein and energy levels. On that note, I feel that we all need adequate and higher levels of antioxidants. So yes, I would say they work at least in some way for everyone, both additively and as well, of course, synergistically.
Okay, synergistic. That term is really being tossed around a lot these days.
Yes, it sure is. Synergistic refers to the sum being greater than the total of its parts. Let me give you an example. In medicine, we use the term when we combine certain antibiotics together to treat infections. It's like saying 2 + 2 = 5. Now, these are the principles Nikken is trying to put into its products.
But there are so many individual ingredients, it can really get confusing. And then there are so many products. I mean, you've got to practically have a guidebook just to know what to take, and then you have to know when to take it. And correct me if I'm wrong, can't some nutrients actually countervalue others?
Yeah, sometimes it's confusing trying to take nutritionals and obtaining maximum benefit, especially when you're not familiar with the proper way to go about it. Many products are best taken alone, and some are better taken before meals, or some with meals, and even some at bedtime. Let me give you an example. Ketosun can decrease the absorption of vitamins and minerals. For that reason, it should probably be taken at bedtime on its own. The key is to design a plan that allows all of the nutritionals to work effectively so as to maximize their beneficial effects. Otherwise, you may lose their effectiveness. It would be like driving a Ferrari or having a Ferrari and not having the keys to drive it.
That would be bad.
And that's exactly what we're here to sort out. Not only to forge those keys, but to help you learn how to turn them. Now, once we do, I think you'll find that Nikken has devised one of the best nutritional programs ever laid out for people to use. They've really thought of everything. We're here to make certain we continue to take that careful path.
Now, I understand that you're going to take us along a kind of program, step by step, product by product.
Right, more like a 3 times a day plan. There are some recommended variations. Our plan, or my plan, is to keep the body at a high and constant level of vitamins, minerals, and fiber. This is in order to maximize their benefit.
So, doctor, shall we proceed to your laboratory?
Well, Mary Chris, since these are foods, I thought the kitchen might be a bit more appropriate.
Oh, what a lovely idea. Shall we?
Of course.
Well, you just have to get a look at the full range of nutritional products Nikken offers to get a full appreciation of what they do. Very impressive.
Even more impressive when we come to understand just how well they work when they're combined the right way.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to become part of the audience for the next few minutes, and I'm going to let you take over. So, Dr. Bell, the stage is yours.
Well, Mary Chris, don't go too far away and don't hesitate to ask questions.
Oh, you can be sure I will.
One of the most important things we need to understand in approaching any nutritional program is that nutritional supplements, no matter how good or how natural they are, aren't enough on their own. The right kind of lifestyle, that means a proper balance of sensible exercise and restful sleep and a healthy, balanced diet, will do it. By healthy diet, we mean fresh, natural foods, especially fresh fruits and vegetables, and foods rich in phytochemicals. Now, I know we have some wonderfully rich natural food supplements in our N3 nutrition line, but your best bet is to go to fresh foods, your produce and farmers market foods. Nikken Nutritional Naturals are supplements and should not be considered the magic bullet of health. They're one more way to better achieve health and wellness, but they're not designed to be used in place of eating the right foods and exercising. They should supplement a good diet and exercise. Finally, taking them does not give us license to continue to eat poorly and erratically. We should all know that. Remember, if it comes in a package, if it isn't fresh, if it's canned or frozen or dried, it's been processed. Okay? And usually it contains some preservatives, often chemicals, to give them shelf life. Generally, now just as a rule of thumb, the longer they last on the shelf, the less nutrition they offer, and the more chemicals they're apt to contain. Knowing this, we also recognize what makes some supplementation not only important but essential in our lives, and what Nikken has done is find the best possible balance of nutritional families and get them together in a plan to work synergistically. There's that word again. Synergistic for you in a way that helps you get the best balance of healthy nutrition all day. Now, one of the first things you learn about supplementation of any kind is that the human system won't take it all in at once, and that nutrients, vitamins and minerals, have personalities all their own. Some work together well. Others have to have their own time and place, while even others still tend to nullify one another if they're combined incorrectly. The other thing is that the human system can only take in or absorb so many things at one time, so you can actually take too many vitamins and minerals at once, especially in so-called megadose formulations. And what happens then? Well, of course, your body simply becomes confused and shrugs off the nutritional information it gets and really, literally passes it out the system. And in the process, it taxes our energy stores, attempting to absorb everything into the bloodstream. Now, fortunately, much of Nikken products are natural and absorbed efficiently and quickly. We'd like to combine the elements in such a way as to decrease as much as possible the energy required to absorb the products. So that's where a little element called absorption comes into play, because if your nutritional is naturally based or is a food like so many of Nikken products are, it's more quickly absorbed into the system. Your body doesn't have to spend so much time processing the information. The other thing, of course, is to combine your elements so intelligently that the system will welcome them. Now, what I've been working with them to do is set up a program 3 times a day that's simple, fun, and that anybody can do. And that includes the very best combination of your N2 and N3 products. There are acceptable variances within these products and food combinations, and I'll be pointing these out along the way, but we can begin with the morning regimen. And in that, I recommend about 4 tablets of greenzymes prior to the morning meal. Now, all N3 products, especially the green ones, are enzymatically potent. But one reason I recommend greenzymes is because they are rich in fruit enzymes like papaya, and they offer the fruit factor for the morning that seems to be so effective. Speaking of the morning meal, most people do better with breakfasts that are light and with fresh foods, particularly as much fresh food as possible. Now, it supplies your body with fiber, carbohydrates, and vitamins. It's also very simple, and simple means easy to absorb. Generally speaking, the so-called hearty breakfast of bacon, eggs, biscuits, butter is the last thing your body wants to deal with in the morning. It's extremely exhaustive on your digestive system and really wastes vital energy. Now, with your morning meal, I like to recommend 2 FOS plus fiber caplets. The FOS and the fiber both work best when taken directly with a food. Now, because jelly bees are primarily royal jelly in a food, it can be taken anytime during the morning meal. It's also best to take Great Day's AM formula with your morning meal or immediately after it. This is, of course, a very fine, very nearly complete multivitamin, multimineral complex. It's devised entirely for Nikken. And there's the alternative to the entire morning meal, and that's the Perfect Start meal replacement mix. Now, a lot of meal replacement mixes contain dairy and whey, but since lactose intolerance is the second most frequently occurring food allergy, Nikken uses soy instead. So you get a double benefit. You get a product that doesn't induce lactose allergies and one that doesn't contain all the cholesterol of dairy-based mixes. Now, Perfect Start also contains FOS plus fiber. So if you have Perfect Start shake for the morning, you may not want to take your additional FOS supplements. Again, we're at a choice here, but the key is to find a proper balance, one that works for you. What wouldn't work for you is a fiber like Ketosun with a grouping like this. Ketosun is a very potent fiber-like product, and it's really best taken by itself at night.
Okay, yoo-hoo, sorry, Dr. Bell.
Of course.
I'd like to ask a question here. What about Mountain Thunder? I understand that this is an incredibly effective product.
Well, Mountain Thunder is a very incredible product. It's rich in some key high-energy foods like ginseng and shiitake mushrooms, so you can absolutely take it in the AM. And since you do mix it in water or juice, you may want to take it instead of your morning coffee.
But unlike coffee, I understand you definitely don't want to drink it in very hot water because it kills all that enzymatic activity, all those nutrients, correct?
All that enzymatic activity. You don't drink it with water. That's too cold or too hot. Room temperature or slightly warmer is ideal. And by the way, you can also take Mountain Thunder as a mid-morning or mid-afternoon drink. It really makes for an excellent high-energy pick-me-up.
Well, are there any products that you shouldn't take with the morning meal group?
Yeah, of course. You shouldn't take your evening calm around your mountain thunder together or one right after the other. They tend to have nutrients that counteract one another. Now that, and you shouldn't again be taking your Ketosun anytime except before bedtime.
Okay, now what about Nikken's new garlic classics?
Well, garlic is a food, so these aged garlic extracts are ideal to take anytime. For the morning, you might want to take your basic allium formula and your allium recollect formula at midday. The allium alive contains chromium and niacin, and you probably want to take that in the evening or with your evening meal.
Okay, we've covered the morning, and why don't we move on to our afternoon regimen?
Right. Now, you want to wait to have this grouping before with lunchtime, and that would be your golden orchard, about 4 tablets, 1/2 hour before your lunch or afternoon meal. Your FOS plus fiber, about 2 tablets with your afternoon meal, and then of course your aged garlic formula, as we had said earlier, your allium recollect, let's say.
Okay, but these are aged garlic extract and foods, and so they can...
And you can take them anytime you want. These are just what we recommend for what we think are the best results.
Okay, so now we're ready for our third healthy grouping of N2 and N3 supplements, so I think I'll go away and let you take over.
Very good, but now don't go too far away. I'm sure you have questions, at least I hope you do.
Well, I will try.
Okay, very good. And now for stage 3 in our complete nutritional program, we recommend these products. First, your Emerald Harvest drink powder in room temperature or warm water. Now, because this is in a beverage, you're better taking this with an evening meal or immediately before it. Now we take 2 garlic caplets with your evening meal. Then we take your Goodnight PM formula after your evening meal, say about 2 hours after. That's because it contains some elements such as calcium, and calcium is much more readily absorbed when taken on its own and not with foods. Your fiber products like your Ketosun and your FOS can be taken on their own or later in the evening. But again, your Ketosun should not be taken with other nutrients, especially minerals. Okay, so for a quick recap, we have Emerald Harvest just before your evening meal or with it. Your garlic formula, 2 tablets with the evening meal. 2 tablets of FOS with your evening meal, and about 2 hours after your evening meal, or maybe 2 hours before you go to bedtime, N2's Goodnight PM formula. You might also do well to take your evening calm about this time, usually 2 to 3 hours before bedtime for both these products.
Okay, excuse me. Sorry.
Yes.
Now I do have a couple of questions, as you might imagine. That was a lot to take in.
I would actually be disappointed if you didn't have questions.
Okay. Now, having gone through that regimen, I have to take note of the fact that this is pretty extensive. I mean, there are a lot of things to remember. So first, I've got to ask, do we really need all of that? And then second, is it okay to leave some things out?
Well, when you do focus on these products, they're each very perfectly designed to fulfill the function they do. And they each fit in so well with the others that if you want to get the most out of your supplements, yes, they're ideal. This is the ideal combination. Unless you're eating a perfectly balanced meal every time, this regimen truly is the way to go. And it's very simple once you start getting into it. You'll see it starts becoming a part of your daily life, and in a very short time it stops being a discipline and starts actually becoming a way of life. We've tried to make it as simple as possible. The rest is really up to you. To answer the second part of your question, we're all a little bit different, and some of us just aren't going to click with certain products, so you may want to leave them out. If you do that, I do recommend a couple of things. Number one, listen to your body. It has a great deal of wisdom. How you respond to things is important. It's what we call kinesiology. Check your energy levels after you've taken your regimen. It'll tell you a lot about what's going on with these products for you. Number two, when in doubt, check with a helping health professional, possibly your physician. Of course, he needs to be up on his nutrition. If he's not, have him refer you to a nutritionist or find a nutritionist. You can find out a lot about your personal affinities and resistances just by learning more about your own system.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now what about flexibility? Can I just change a few things around?
Well, we've tried to design this program to be as flexible as possible. For example, you can take your perfect start for lunch instead of breakfast. Now, parenthetically, I wouldn't recommend taking it in place of all your meals. I think one is okay, though. Another example is that you can take your Emerald Harvest in the morning meal and your Greenzymes at night. They're very flexible. Emerald Harvest also mixes well with your Perfect Start FOS in a kind of green shake. That may not be a bad way to go. Now, there are limits, though. There are right combinations and wrong combinations. We've tried to define those here, and we've got them written down for you in a little booklet, so you can refer to them whenever you need to. Lastly, don't try and be efficient and take all the products at once. Moderation and planning is really the key to this.
That's true. Everything in moderation, including moderation. Now,
Very right.
one last question, and I think I know the answer, but I'm going to go ahead and ask. Is the list of N2 and N3 complete? I mean, is this all there is, and will there be any more new products?
Well, Mary Chris, I can't speak for Nikken. I'm really here to advise and help them maximize their nutritional potentials, but I really can say this. The modern world is just now starting to break through to new levels of health consciousness. There's new discoveries in nutrition almost every week, it seems. So the wellness mural, so to speak, is never finished, and as long as there are opportunities to help people and bring us closer to perfect health and greater longevity and more quality of life, we'll keep on trying, I'm sure, to find answers and coming out with new solutions. I know that that's my commitment and that of Nikken's. That's why we're here.
Well, Dr. Bell, thank you so much for all that information.
Well, thank you, Mary Chris.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time and with more of Nikken's Guide to Nutrition.